What is going on, guys? Sonic and the Bean Show here, and today in this video we're going to be looking at Wave 8 of the 2.5-inch Sonic figures by Jakks Specific. Now we are going to do an in-depth review of Robotnik and Classic Knuckles since they are the newest figures here in this wave. And if you guys want to know where I picked these up from, I did get these at my local Target. They sadly didn't have the full wave. You guys know I usually always review the full wave when they're boxed up. You know, I like to do it like that. I know it's just kind of something I like to do really, but it doesn't really matter. You know, we got the figures anyway, so it's not that serious. Now I will give you my final thoughts on the entire wave as a whole by the end of this video, but for now let's take a good look at the Dr. Robotnik and Classic Knuckles figure. So getting into the packaging, we do got the classic packaging right here since these are the classic figures, but we do got is the classic Sonic render right here that does say classic right there. It also says articulated on the ring right here. We do get the logo right there along with their names and the Jakks Specific logo. On the back right here we do got, you know, a little bio read for you guys. Here's the back of Eggman's packaging right here. We do get the logo up there. We get his name along with the product shot of the figure. It does have 5 points of articulation. There's the bio if you want to read, and then coming down we do get the rest of the figures in the set. And here's the back of Classic Knuckles packaging right here. It's about the same thing. There's the bio if you want to pause and read. He has 5 points of articulation as well, and again the other figures in the set. But that was the packaging right there, so without further ado, let's go ahead and review the Dr. Eggman and Classic Knuckles figure and see what they're all about. So here's the figures out of their packaging right here along with the rest of the wave. Now the first figure we'll be looking at is, come on now, you know we gotta look at my boy Knuckles. Man, I was so excited for this figure. So looking at this guy already, I am speechless. Look at this guy. Look at this figure. This is so cool, man. Now I do remember me saying I thought the Knuckles were a bit too big. Like I thought like it looked pretty like off for a second, but they're actually kind of fine. Like in person, like, you know, if you get these in person, the Knuckles are actually okay. So starting from the head sculpt, I mean, you know, the likeness is definitely there. It definitely has that classic charm to this Knuckles figure. You can see the moon symbol right there coming down. You got the shoes. It definitely does have that classic look as it should. You know, I think they did a good job with this Knuckles figure. You know, I think everything is pretty nice. You know, he's kind of smiling right there. Now for the articulation, you guys already know how the you know, articulation is for Knuckles' head with the quills being in the way. You can somewhat move them a bit, but you know, not as much really. You know, the quills will still, you know, get in the way right there with the arms. Now with the arms, you can move them up and down, but you guys know the quills will be in the way. But you can move his head a bit, and you can move his arms underneath his quills like that. You know, sort of like a Knuckles trick with a lot of these Knuckles figures that you can do. You know, you can do that, slide it, and then, you know, slide it back. But you know, there is also a hinge, so you can do that. But it actually moves pretty smoothly with even with the quills in his way, so you can still move his arms if you want to. And then now with the legs, you know, he does kick up about here and about back right there, and you can also swivel the entire leg. There are no wrist articulation either. You know, that's just about it. But other than that, the Knuckles figure is actually pretty great. This is a really amazing Knuckles figure. So yeah, I really do like this Knuckles figure. So now that we got my boy Knuckles there, let's look at the brand new 2.5-inch Classic Robotnik figure. Now this is actually just the 4-inch Eggman figure, so there's like, you know, no new pose or anything going on. It's literally just a 4-inch figure, you know, just, you know, shrinked really. But the thing is that right off the bat, there are no elbow joints. I thought he was gonna have one, but you know, even looking at the pictures the first time this guy was revealed, I knew for a fact he wasn't gonna have elbow joints. So looking at the Robotnik figure, you know, he does look great. You know, I don't have any paint smudges going on. I think everything is pretty good about my 2.5-inch Robotnik figure. Now one thing I don't like though is I don't like his legs. Now the legs, I don't know if you guys can kind of see from this angle, but one of the legs is a little curved. I think it's this one. I'll even zoom out for you guys, but if you guys can kind of see, you know what, I think it's this leg. You can see it's a little curve. You know, I thought if I turn it, you know, but I really think it's like this foot right here. There's one of these is like kind of, you know how like you have one of your figures where like the leg or the feet's kind of warped or whatever. So that's kind of a thing that's going on with my Robotnik figure. But he is somewhat still standing. You know, I just gotta have him like lean forward, but if I, you know, do this, he'll, you know, kind of lean back like that. But yeah, you know, that does suck about my Robotnik figure right there. But let's start off with the articulation. So you can turn his head. That is pretty cool. You can turn his head. The arms can move up and down. He does have a hinge as well. No elbow joints like I said, and he doesn't have any wrist articulation either. And then for the legs, he can kick up about here and a back about there, and you can swivel it, so it's not really bad. You know, I like how you can also move his mustache. They still included that in right there, but it's not a bad figure. I think this is an awesome Robotnik figure. It's just that it's just the leg problem. You know, I always feel like Eggman always had some weird leg problems, whether it was the movie one or the modern one where his like knees were slightly bent, but I don't know. But the 4-inch Robotnik figure, his legs is actually okay. I actually don't have any problems with that one, but this one, it's not the biggest issue. The guy can still stand, and it is a really good 2.5-inch figure. Now for your Dr. Eggman figure comparison, here he is with my 4-inch Robotnik figure and the modern 2.5-inch figure. And you guys can kind of see what I mean by the leg thing, where you can kind of see like, you know, the legs is kind of like bent a little bit, and this one's kind of like straight. I don't know if you guys can sort of see the comparison, but yeah, just wanted to point that out right there. Now for your Classic Knuckles figure comparison, here he is with the Tomy Classic Knuckles figure. We have the modern 2.5-inch Knuckles figure, and we have the 4-inch modern Knuckles figure. It's kind of funny because we actually have the Classic Knuckles figure right here that was coming out during when Sonic Mania was about to come out, and then now we have is the Knuckles figure that's going to be coming out for Sonic Origins. So that's actually kind of cool right there. And for another comparison, here we have the rest of the classic characters right here, and look at how big the classic roster is looking so far. I'm such a huge fan of the classic figures. I really love them, especially in the 2.5-inch figure range. They just look amazing. Definitely can't wait to add classic Metal Sonic and Ray to add to the mix as well. But the classic figures, I just can't get enough of them. I can't get enough of them. They're just amazing figures. But that pretty much does it here on the review of Wave 8 of the 2.5-inch Sonic figures. Now, my final thoughts on this wave as a whole, I think it's pretty solid. You know, I think it's a pretty solid wave. Now for Classic Sonic, I don't know when this guy will get another re-release. They could re-release him again, or they could start doing the standard pose, or maybe the Chili Dog one as well. Now for Dr. Eggman, I do like this figure a lot. You know, I was always a fan of the Dr. Eggman figures, but this figure I love. You know, I mean, the leg is whatever really, but it is a pretty good 2.5-inch figure. And Classic Knuckles, man, this figure is amazing. Definitely recommend this Classic Knuckles figure. This might end up being my favorite 2.5-inch Sonic figure this year, probably. It probably will. This Classic Knuckles figure is amazing. I love it so much. Now for the Tails figure, this is the one with the spinning tails. This is actually my favorite modern Tails. I've always liked this one because he's able to stand up good, so I don't mind getting a lot of re-releases for this figure. Now for the Shadow figure, I mean, I don't know, it's kind of on and off for me. I was never really the biggest fan of the 2.5-inch Shadow figure. I don't know, like, it's hard to get this guy to stand. Not a fan of the pose either, which is probably why I wasn't a fan of the Super Shadow figure as well. But that's gonna do it for this review, ladies and gentlemen. So I thank you all so much for watching, and I will definitely catch you guys in the next video. Take care, my friends.